So today I'm going to do an oil change. I've got here a 2015 F150. It's an XLT with a 5-liter engine. So let me get started. All right, so first thing I usually do is just take the oil cap off and set it aside. And then just to show you where the filter is, it's right down there. So there's a Purolator filter in there right now. That's going to be changed out. I've got a Mobile One filter that's going to go in its place, and I could probably get to this from the top, but I think it'd be easier to be laying down than get it from the bottom. So let me get down there and start working. All right, so I crawled underneath. I'm sitting underneath the driver's side tire, and just a little ways back you can see that is where the oil pan is, and that's the plug that you have to pull for the oil. So that's a 15 millimeter. So get yourself a 15 millimeter socket, go ahead, loosen that up, and then pull the plug and start draining the oil. All right, so I'm down on the driver's side, and I'm going to go ahead and jack it up a little bit at the cross member, put my jack stand underneath behind the front driver's side tire, and then I see the filter, so just get up there to show you that. So there's the filter, so pretty easy access to the filter. And then when you pull the filter, it's actually supposed to drain from the filter into this tray, and then this plastic tray runs right out the front here where it's supposed to catch anything that drips off. So I've tried to use that before and it wasn't that successful. There's actually a channel that goes towards the back of the car as well. So what I'm going to do is just put some shop towels in the tray to be able to catch any runoff from pulling the filter. All right, so now I got it loose enough. See it dripping, a couple more threads, and it should start flowing. There we go. So just go ahead and let that drain until everything comes out. All right, so while that's draining out of the sump, I'm going to take some of these shop towels and then put them underneath the oil filter to catch anything that might run off when I pull the filter. So let me get under there and do that. So again, underneath the driver's side, looking up at the oil filter, I've got those shop towels tucked underneath the filter to try to catch anything that runs off when I pull it out. So let me get the wrench on the filter and go ahead and start turning that and get it off. And just to show you, I'm using one of these rigid type filter wrenches versus the strap wrench. This one just seems easier underneath here with the room I have. This will work pretty well. All right, so we loosened it up. Now we should be able to twist it until it comes out. I'm not sure if it's going to leak all over me, but we shall see. There we go. There you go. All right. So we got it off. Oh, yeah. So the towels didn't do the best job, but I did put an old rag underneath to catch it, so nice try, but didn't work that great. All right, so now that we got the filter off, still dripping a little bit, but I'll just wipe that up. And let me show you, now it's dripping out the back, so there is that other channel of that tray that got a rag down there right now, but the oil comes out the back end as well. So maybe next time I'll just be using a bigger catch pan, because the catch pan I have back there for the sump just isn't long enough to cover the span of both of the exits of this little tray from the filter. So that's what we'll have to do next time. All right, so I got my new filter. It's the M1212A from Mobile One. I've got my oil, so first thing I'm gonna do is actually put a little oil around the O-ring here, this gasket, and that's just gonna help seal it up when I go ahead and tighten it down. It'll make it a little bit easier to get it flush and tight against the oil filter housing. So that's all you got to do there. So I'll go ahead and reach up and clean the oil filter housing best I can around it, and make sure that the gasket is off from the old filter, which is right here. So you can see the gasket is there. Sometimes that gasket can get stuck. Then you get two gaskets on there and you'll leak oil like crazy and have an issue to deal with. So I'll go ahead now and put this filter on. All right, so I'm looking up to where the filter goes. I just wiped off around the filter housing, so it looks clean now. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the filter and go ahead and put that on. So since it's tough to see, I'm just gonna try to use the camera. There we go. So there. Perfect. So now I got the filter going. I'll hand tighten it as tight as I can with my hand, and then usually another 3/4 turn is enough to tighten your filter and keep it in place. So let me get the wrench, give it another 3/4 turn, and then we'll move on to putting the plug back in the sump and then fill with oil. All right, so I got a wrench. Turn this about 3/4 of the way around. Keep it tight. All right, that should be good. So now I can move on to putting the plug back in the pan back at the sump. So here's my bigger pan, which I slid under there to slowly catch those drips until I got the filter back on. So now that we got the filter back on, we can go back there and get the plug back in. So let me crawl under there. So now I'm back underneath. I got my plug to put back in, so I'll wipe this up, clean it up. There's no gasket on this plug. I'm not sure if that's how all F150s are, but there's none here, so take a look, see if that's how it's supposed to be, and then I'll go ahead and tighten that down, because it wasn't leaking before, so I'm assuming that no gasket is the way it is from the factory, and I can just torque it down now and then fill it. So let me get to that. All right, so like I said, just gonna clean it up a little bit before I torque it down. All right, that's out of the way. Okay. Should be good. All right, and now we can get to the filling. All right, so one last thing I'm going to do is just check, make sure this is torqued right. So I've got a torque wrench, and it looks like, from what I can find out there, 20 foot-pounds is what you torque this to. So I'm just going to check to see I at least got that. Yep, and there it is. All right, so I'm at at least 20 foot-pounds, and shouldn't have anything to worry about. All right, so now I got my 7 quarts. It could take 8, so I got another one just in case, but 7.7 is what it says in the capacity in the manual for the 5 liter. So we can go ahead and put 7 in, and then we'll let it sit for a minute, and then we'll go ahead and check it and see if we need to add that extra 0.7 or not. So I got my filter in place. I'll just start pouring in the oil, and then we'll go ahead and check it. So checking it is the yellow dipstick right there. So just go ahead and pull that out, and you'll see a min-max reading, so you can go ahead and read where you are. And then the last thing to do is to reset the service life on the dashboard, which is super easy on this car, so we'll do that too. All right, so we're getting the last of the oil in. So again, put 7 quarts in, and then I'll go ahead and check the dipstick to see if we need to add that extra 0.7 or not. All right, so I just pulled out the dipstick, cleaned it off, and I'm just gonna try to turn it here so you can see. So where those hash marks are, and that hole at the furthest to the right, that's the top. That right there is your max fill. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the dipstick back in, see where it ends up. Could be over that, because I did do a filter change too. So what's gonna happen is when I first start the engine, you're gonna get your oil going into your filter, and then it's gonna bring your level down a little bit, but it shouldn't be much. So let's see where we are. All right, so there's my check. You can see it's about halfway down the hash marks. So that extra quart is probably a good idea. So I'll go ahead and put that in. All right, so here's where we are now that we put the 1 more quart in. So we're just at the 2nd hole. So then when I start it up and the filter fills up, we should be good right at the top of that hash mark. So let's start her up and go ahead and reset the oil life. All right, so now we're inside. We're gonna go ahead and change the reset light. So oil change required, so just say okay. So now we've got to go back in the menu, go to, I believe it's display mode. Let's see what we got. Yeah, percent oil life 0. So it says okay, hold okay to reset oil life. So go ahead and hold okay, resetting, bang. So now it's at 100%, and we're all good. All right, so that's it. Hopefully this helps.